What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Optimize You podcast, the place where we're providing you in all areas in life to help optimize your scenario so that you can live out the best life possible. And today we're going over specifically how to make sure that you never fall off track again. I know it might sound a little crazy, but we're going to dive into it, peel back some layers on the onion, and really talk about it. So, first things that we need to do are define what are the areas of falling off track. What does falling off track mean to you? Does falling off track mean that you started a diet and let's say it was for 30 days you wanted to change something and it was initially brand new, but for whatever reason you couldn't see it through the first 30 days? Or is falling off track something that you've been doing for the last 5 years and you've been extremely consistent, but now all of a sudden you've fallen off track for the next 7 to 14 days because you were traveling? So first things first, we need to define what falling off track is for you, because for every individual, it's going to be different. I want you to think about your own scenario, your own life, your own current circumstances. And then that way we can apply the answers in this to your life individually, and you can figure out how to navigate to ensure that falling off track isn't necessarily going to be, you know, a complete solution to find, to never fall off track again. That's not what we're going to talk about, but I will help you provide some answers to help mitigate it so that you can stay on track, more consistent through discipline and things like that. So let's talk about it. I'm going to define falling off track for me and how I would describe it. So falling off track for me, I've been doing this a long time. I would define falling off track for me as easy as what I do on the weekends. And maybe you relate to this as well. So if I don't have an immediate goal in mind, meaning I'm not trying to hit a specific body weight, I'm not trying to have a specific look, I'm not trying to achieve something from a physical standpoint, set a specific time on a mile or lift a certain weight or anything like that, I found that I very loosely track things, or I very loosely go about my health and fitness. And that's not to say that it's bad, because I've been on extremes. I've been on one side of extremes where it's like I'm not missing anything. And then I'm on the other side where it's like, well, I guess I am doing something, but not to the level in which I know I'm capable of. And for that, I feel like I failed, and I feel like I'm just kind of operating off track. So for me, off track would be when I'm really going towards something and I'm really going after something and I deviate from that. That's when I really feel off track. So if I'm going for, let's say specifically, I'm training and I want to achieve a specific number on my back squat, a very specific weight. My training is very intentional. It's very purposeful. I'm eating a certain way. I'm providing my body with the amount of calories and nutrients and macros that I need to be able to hit that target, to be able to do so successfully. And in order to do that, if I deviate from that plan, I feel like I'm off track. I feel like I failed, right? And that could be something as simple as, crushing an entire pizza and my whole diet going down the hill, and then which triggers these super highly palatable processed responses in my brain to want all the desserts, to want all the things. And so that would be my variation of falling off track. Okay, so did I fall off track? Technically, in my mind, yes, I did. And I think we've all been there before. So you can think of your own circumstances and scenarios. Maybe falling off track isn't food related for you. Maybe falling off track is continuously missing your workouts. Maybe falling off track for you is not lifting or not prioritizing things that you know that are really good for you on a consistent basis. Like wherever you slide or wherever you slip, it can really be anything. So I want you guys to kind of think of your own circumstances here. And then I'll talk about some of the things that I do to help mitigate that. And then specifically what I've helped multiple clients really as of recent, which has kind of just been back to back, kind of been in a row. And I'll share you some of their experiences with you as well, and how we were able to work through those and they come out on the other side. So one thing for me that I like to do is I like to reestablish my reasons of my desires and what I truly want. It doesn't have to be what you need. I think it's more important to figure out what you want, because we don't necessarily need to be in a specific shape. It's not required, but maybe we want it and we desire it. And so figuring out what you want and what you desire is always going to be first and foremost. Let's just say, for the sake of argument, you've figured that part out. Like, you know exactly what you want. You're like, I want a healthier and I want a fitter version of myself. And that's truly what I desire, because ultimately it's going to enhance my life and I'm going to be better for everybody else around me. Great. Let's just say that's the given. And then that way we can kind of talk about some of these other aspects. So if that's the given, and say for me, I got off track on that weekend, I had the pizza, I had all the ice cream, I blew way over my calories, I wasn't focused on protein, so I made some nutritional mistakes. The biggest thing that you can do, and this is the answer, this is the key, this is the golden nugget that you're going to want to write down. The best thing that you can possibly do is, first and foremost, sit with what you did. I think a lot of people have a tendency to brush that under the rug, like, oh, it's not that bad, or I'm already here, so I might as well just keep going, which is also the wrong mindset. So the first thing is acknowledge it, understand it's okay. So you have to okay it, because I think a lot of us will beat ourselves up over that. So acknowledge it, understand that it's okay, and then figure out what your first step is to start bridging the gap in the right direction. Obviously, we were moving down a different direction. What's the first step in the direction that we know is going to be purposeful for us, that's going to be productive, that's going to help us, get on track, back on track? What is that first step? And you'll notice the further along in your journey you are, the faster you have the ability to acknowledge, to respect what you just did, and then figure out that first plan of action, that first step in the right direction. So the further you are in your journey, the quicker you are at being able to decipher where it is that you went wrong, acknowledging it, understanding it's okay, but now I'm going to take that first step. The quicker you can cycle through that process, the less, how do I say this? Not the less that you're going to experience it, but the less downtime that you're going to have, to where you continue to dwell on that singular thing that you did. Where people mess up is they continue to dwell on the thing they did, and they go, oh, well, screw it, I'm here already, so I might as well start next month, I might as well start next Monday. And a great analogy that I always love to share is, it's like if you forgot one night and you were going to bed and you were super tired and you fell asleep and you forgot to brush your teeth, right? Which sucks. Occasionally that may happen, right? You might have done that yourself. But I don't skip that one night and I went to sleep and I woke up the next morning like, damn, I forgot to brush my teeth, so I'm going to wait till next Monday to brush my teeth again, right? Or I'm going to wait till the first of the month, or I'm going to wait till January 1st until I start brushing my teeth again, right? Hopefully nobody ever does that. But for some reason, when it comes to our health and fitness journey, that's exactly how we think, right? Instead of, okay, I forgot, and admitting and acknowledging, okay, I forgot to brush my teeth that night, I fell asleep, super gross, so the first thing I'm going to do when I get up, I brush my teeth. I'm right back on it immediately upon waking, right? And so if you can establish and create that mindset for yourself and go, okay, what's the first step, actionable step that I could take that's going to put me in the direction that I know I want to go, even though I did this, right? Acknowledge it, accept it. Okay, I did this, or I didn't do this, right? In this case, we didn't brush our teeth. So what am I going to do to take that first step in the right direction? Well, upon waking, immediately I'm going to go brush my teeth first thing, just because I know I just missed that. It's not going to take me time. I'm not going to take a day. I'm not going to take hours, right? I'm not going to take hours. I'm not going to take a day. I'm not going to take weeks. I'm not going to take months to brush my teeth again after I forgot. Okay. And I like to use that analogy because some of us are treating it as if, we're not going to brush our teeth for an entire month, an entire year. Hopefully that's not you. Holy cow, right? Your teeth would be falling out maybe. But some of us are treating our health and fitness like that. So I want you to remember the toothbrush analogy. You forgot to brush your teeth. It's not the end of the world, right? Hopefully sometimes you may even wake up in the middle of the night that you forgot, and you're like, oh man, I'm going to the bathroom. You woke up to go to the bathroom and you're going to brush your teeth then, right? Even that turnaround time's even quicker. It's all about the turnaround time and how quickly you take that first step, how quickly you initiate that first step in the right direction. So hopefully that makes sense. So I have some clients that messaged me within the past month or so. I've had about 3 different scenarios where people have battled this with different situations. One of them is where they were extremely consistent and diligent in their process, both from a nutritional and workout standpoint. And then all of a sudden, because I can track everything in my app, all of a sudden they're almost like non-existent, meaning they're not opening the app, they're not checking off their nutrition for the day, they're not completing their workouts. And I slowly start to see this person go down and down and down and down. So I reach out to them, go, what's going on? Like, hey, but let's nip this right away. Let's try to nip this quick, right? I noticed a pattern here where you're missing work. You missed multiple workouts. That's not like you. You very rarely do you ever miss a workout. I don't see you logging in and entering your food, and I don't see any of that. What's going on? oh man, work, my kid, life, like everything, right? Everything in the books, like, and trust me, I've been doing this a long time. So there's nothing that very rarely is there ever something that somebody's going to tell me where I'm like, oh man, you know what? That's a legitimate reason to not do that stuff. I've heard it all. And so the more you tell it to yourself, the more you try to justify, it's just everything's just an excuse, right? So once you take that, get it all out of your system. Okay. Yep. Sure. Man, that must be crazy, right? Like you have to kind of play the part a little bit. And then once all the excuses are out, then you got to decide, we're in the same scenario. You got to decide, what's that first step of action? What's the first step that I'm going to take to move back in the right direction? And I think it's that acknowledgement. Acknowledge that all the things came up. Acknowledge that life came up. Acknowledge that work came up. Acknowledge that friends and family came up. Like, acknowledge all of those things. You got off track. It's okay. Once you understand it's okay and you stop trying to like create resistance around it, like, oh, I know it's not okay, I hate myself, I shouldn't do this, like, oh man, I might as well not even start. And that's where most people go in their head, because it's the easy thing. I think it's the default answer to go to. Instead, this individual and I had a conversation. I said, you know what, it's all good. It's all good. And so one of my favorite sayings is, when I find somebody in this scenario, and even myself too, is, so what, now what? If you can repeat that to yourself when this scenario is happening, when this challenge or this difficulty is happening, I promise you, you'll thank yourself, because the answer is always going to be, so what, now what? So what that you prioritized going out and socializing over logging your food, nutrition, and you skipped a workout the next day because you slept in because you were hungover. So what? I know it sounds crazy, but so what? Comma, now what? And if you could put yourself in that scenario and go, okay, I acknowledge that I did the thing, or I acknowledge that I didn't do the thing. I acknowledge that I did the thing that made me not do the thing, right? Once that has taken place, you can kind of let some stress off your shoulders. You're going, okay, I'm acknowledging that I did that. And not only am I acknowledging that I did what I did, it's okay. I understand it's okay, because I can't go back and change anything. That's why I'm saying it's okay. I'm not saying okay to, hey, just keep doing that thing, right? No, we want to learn from it. We want to use it as data. We want to become better from it. I'm saying it's okay because it's in the past and we can't change it. So you have to acknowledge it as being okay in this moment so that you can move forward from it. It's not okay that we did the thing and then we continue to keep doing the thing. That's a totally different conversation, right? That means that we haven't learned. That means that we haven't progressed. So we have to acknowledge it. We have to become better from it. Use it as data. We gain knowledge from it and we can move forward and get better. So what that we did the thing? So what that we went out and partied, drank too much alcohol, slept in, missed our workout? Now what? Well, the first step I can do, I'm a little hungover, I'm not feeling so good, I can hydrate. I can maybe get some electrolytes in my system. I can maybe go for a walk, get some steps in, get some energy expenditure in. I can maybe think, if I haven't grocery shopped yet, I can go grocery shop, get my steps in, and prioritize some single ingredient, high quality foods. Those, I just gave you 3-4 steps, actionable steps that you could do right now that that are going to put you right on the right track, right? And that's where your brain should be thinking, not, oh man, I feel terrible, I'm just going to continue to sleep in right now. Man, I'm so hungover, like whatever it is, right? You continue to dwell in the thing that you're already doing. So we got to take that first step. You got to bridge the gap. And the quicker, the more advanced people, the more successful people that I see in their health and fitness journey, they have a crazy ability to harness the so what, now what principle. The so what, I did that, damn, they're a little frustrated, but immediately they're on to, like, okay, I'm on to the thing that I know I missed, or man, I'm doing my workout now. I know I was supposed to do it on this day. I already programmed it to do over here. I skipped it yesterday and I really shouldn't have, but it's okay. I got it on the schedule today. I'm going to the gym at this time, at this particular place. I already know where I'm putting it in my schedule. Boom, it's done. Those people move on so quickly as if that thing didn't even happen. They're not super hard on themselves. They've been there before. It's not unfamiliar territory. They're getting more experience. They're getting more repetitions. They're more advanced. The people who have less repetitions with this happening, this quote unquote falling off track, they freak out. They're super hard on themselves. They don't understand that this is actually part of the journey. It's part of the process. Like, you're going to fall off track. And the quicker you accept that, the quicker you acknowledge it, the better you get at handling it when it happens. And that's super important. If you expect it to never happen, and then all of a sudden it happens, and you feel discouraged and you feel bummed and you feel just dwelling on it all day for days, for weeks, sometimes for months and years, you're just burying yourself in the hole that you already dug. Knowing that, hey, that hole's actually not that deep, you can take a step right back out. And that first step is huge. That first step out of it matters more than the hole that you dug in the first place. And so when you can remember that, I here's the catch with it. I want you to remember it in the sense that you can learn from it and grow from it. It doesn't mean that you're never going to do it again, but hopefully you're not repeating it back to back to back to back, right? That's a totally different problem. That means you're absolutely not learning. I want you to learn from it. We got to learn from it. In order to learn from it, we need repetitions from it. We need it to happen multiple times so that we can practice our ability to respond, our ability to take that first step in the right direction. That's huge. If you just expect yourself to be perfect, remember, we always say progress over perfection. If you just expect yourself to be perfect in your process, that's where you let yourself down. You're like, oh man, everything's supposed to be perfect. I did all my workouts. I logged all my food. I hit everything I was supposed to do. I did my mindset. I did my hydration. I hit all my steps. I did everything perfect. But the second I'm off, I feel like I'm defeated. It's because you're setting an expectation for yourself to be perfect instead of setting an expectation of progress. Make progress, little, medium, big, small, whatever. Make progress. How do you make progress? Progress doesn't mean checking off all the boxes and hitting everything as perfectly as possible. Progress means, man, you know what? I learned from what I just did, and I know that doesn't serve me. However, I'm going to get better at my turnaround time, and I'm going to take that first step right now. So what? Now what? So what? I did this. Now what? Well, the what is I'm going to walk today. I'm going to focus on hydration. I'm going to take that first glass of water right now. Whatever it is, it could be a super small step. And now you take this pressure off your shoulders of having to live this, this journey of your health and fitness perfectly. Because if we're committed to this thing for life, you can remove any finish line in terms of you've arrived in your health and fitness. You never arrive. You just get and you achieve and you smash goals, which are more like checkpoints. And then you have to do the things that got you there consistently so that you're able to maintain that level. So it's never ending. You never just stop. You never just turn the card in. You never just check it in. It's never ending. You have to continuously keep going. And the quicker you acknowledge that, the less harsh you'll be in scenarios where you fall off track. If you understand that you're doing this for the long run, you're not doing this for like a 3-month, 6-month, 12-month short, quick phase, a super quick challenge or whatever it is. Those things all have timelines on them. They all have destinations on them. And then they leave you with nothing after that. So you have to acknowledge like, okay, I'm committed to this thing for life, which means that I'm going to fail during the process, that I'm going to mess up. It's going to be super sloppy. But how quickly is my turnaround time from when I do the thing to when I take the first step in the right direction? The people who are advanced, the people who are super successful, people who are super healthy and fit, yes, they mess up less, but it's only because they've had so many repetitions failing at it, messing up, missing log in their food, not paying attention, going way over on their calories, missing workouts. Like they've done that so many times and experienced and got so fed up that their turnaround, when they do it, very rarely now because they've learned, it still happens, but their turnaround time is so quick. It's like, okay, man, damn, I haven't done that in a long time. You know what? I feel bad for doing it. I'm not going to be super harsh on myself, but I am going to take that first action step immediately. That's the difference versus somebody who's in the beginning stages. They're still fairly new to their health and fitness journey. They put all their eggs into the perfection basket, the all or nothing basket. Oh man, I'm riding this high. I'm doing everything perfect. I haven't missed a dang thing. Then all of a sudden you do. And then now what? You're super hard on yourself. You feel like life's over. You feel like you failed. You feel like the challenge that you're engaging in, you feel like there's no way you can win now. That's not how it works. That's not how it works. You failed. So what? Learn from it. Now what? And if you could take that approach, the so what, now what approach, I promise you, not only will your life be more enjoyable, the thing that we're spending the most time in the actual thick of it, the process will be more enjoyable. And when the process becomes more enjoyable, you understand that you don't put all your eggs into the perfection basket. You put them into the progress basket. And progress could be small, it could be medium, it could be massive. but progress is not perfection. And I think if you remember that and you can remind yourself of that little saying, so what, now what, you'll set yourself up for success. So hopefully that makes sense. If you guys found value from this, make sure you share it with somebody, share it with a friend, share it with a family member, introduce them to our podcast. If you feel like somebody actually needs to hear this message, the so what, now what message, and they need to start sloppy, we always talk about that. Go ahead and share it with them. That would make our day. That's all we ask of you guys. Until then, we'll see you on the next one.